Available on DVD from the MVD Rewind Collection is something I had no idea existed until it showed up at my door. This is Spaceballs, the animated series from 2008. Did you know there was a Spaceballs animated series in 2008? One season on DVD. It's actually not half bad, you know? I guess some people really don't like it, but I'd never heard of it. I went into this kind of dubious. The cover made me think this is the kind of animation I really don't like. And it actually is the whole thing is really not bad at all. It features voices by Mel Brooks as the characters he played in Spaceballs. Daphne Zuniga is back as the princess, and Joan Rivers is back as the robot. You have other people doing the Bill Pullman character and the John Candy character in the I want to say Martin Short, but that's not who it is. The Rick Moranis character. But overall, they're fast, they're fun, they spoof all kinds of stuff. They're pretty short, they're TV half hour. They're an early 2000s TV half hour. Originally, this aired on G4, which is probably why you've never heard of it. And I don't think it ever got a video release since then. I could be wrong. It is a 2 DVD set. It is presented in their usual Blu-ray packaging, so it might fool your eye into thinking that this is a Blu-ray set, but it's not. And I don't know that a Blu-ray would really improve on standard def video from 2008. Unless you went back to the original masters, and even then they were standard def. This has optional English subtitles. I'm not going to go into great detail because it's a TV series, but the animation style is, I don't want to say it's South Parky because it really isn't, but it has that same kind of feel where it almost feels like it's paper cutouts, but it's 2D animation, but it also utilizes 3D animation to execute the 2D animation, if that makes any sense. At any rate, I have a beef with how a lot of modern animation looks. It's sacrilege. I was never a fan of Ren and Stimpy, and that sort of forever changed how a lot of animation is done. I don't like the Japanese or anime style animation, and this isn't that. This looks like a cartoon I might have watched when I was a kid, a little bit more stylized. It is very much for grown-ups. At first I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, there's the occasional saucy. Oh, no, wait, this is really for grown-ups. This is for people who saw Spaceballs as a kid and are not kids anymore. So I would not recommend this for kids because there's some pretty saucy, ribald stuff in there. The Mel Brooks character of the supreme ruler is very much a horn dog, and there's a lot of just sort of crude stuff in here. So it is very much PG-13. Hard PG-13, as it were. It's the disc 1 is the 2-part pilot, and then episodes 1 through 6. They're each 25 minutes each. They spoof all kinds of things. Spaceballs was a spoof of sci-fi movies. This gets into just all kinds of general sci-fi specifically. It's still in the sci-fi world, but it's really a spoof of all kinds of pop culture of the day. And one thing I'll say on a technical level, they look fine. They look like standard def TV would look on a nice big widescreen TV. So it's 4:3. They didn't mess with it, which is good. But there are times where you do see a little of what your original TV would have cropped off. So in that sense, you're seeing more image than you ever did in your original TV. If you don't know, 4:3 TVs, when you shot for TV, there was what you would consider a safe zone because various TVs would crop some level of the image. Sometimes when that is uncropped, you see what you see occasionally here, which is the very, very top sliver of the TV. You see a little thin black sliver with little white things that wiggle a little bit, which is basically the bottom half of the time code that is not supposed to be seen by anybody. It's not really that distracting, and it's not present throughout, but you do see it occasionally, just so you know. The animation style, as I said, was kind of sort of like flattened 3D. And I'll just tell you basically what this thing spoofs. You get spoofs of things like Star Wars, Grand Theft Auto, the game, Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean, Terminator, American Idol, Spider-Man. It's sort of, in a way, which is not a compliment to it from my brain, in a way it's almost like the Scary Movie thing where they're really kind of spoofing anything that you're aware of that's popular. But G4 was a channel for gamers and for pop culture and for, geeks, as they say. So it really kind of scattershot hits a lot of stuff like that. I found it relatively amusing. I found it, every episode was different. Every episode spoofed something different, so it didn't feel like the same thing over and over again. Is it something I would recommend? I think if you're a big fan of Spaceballs, yeah, I probably would. Or a fan of pop culture in general and spoofs, you probably would enjoy this. It's nothing I would probably watch again, but it's very cool that it's out there and interesting that it's out there. I'll show you what it looks like packaging wise. See, this is the packaging that threw me off. I'm like, oh, is this like that? I'm not a huge fan of the original Star Wars films, the real ones as I called them when I was a kid, the first three. And the animated Star Wars stuff I've come and gone in the Star Wars spin-offs. I could not watch Clone Wars because I thought the animation style was horrendous looking. And when I saw this cover, I'm like, oh, is this going to look like Clone Wars? Thankfully, no. This is a stylized representation of what, and it's the MVD Rewind Collection, so it kind of looks like the old Media Home Entertainment packaging. The slipcase slips off to reveal pretty much the exact same thing. Crack it open, and you get what you usually get with MVD Rewind is you get the 2 discs that are made to look like you're looking down at the top of a videotape, and you take them out. I won't take them both out, and you get the full episode list and synopsis and credits and all that, which is cool, nice to have. And then you get a mini poster replica of the cover, which is a standard for the MVD Rewind Collection that looks like that. So kind of neat that they put this out. You know, if you're like me and you weren't, you know, an avid G4 watcher, you probably had no idea this even existed. So now available from the MVD Rewind Collection is Spaceballs, the complete animated series.